We're here today with Kadin, Esports coordinator in St. Lawrence University in New York. Thank you, Kadin, for your time and for adding value to international students.
Happy to be here.
So before we start, can you tell us a bit about your journey into how you got to be an esports coordinator in St. Lawrence?
Certainly. So it all kind of started with me being very good at Valorant. Specific game I really liked playing. It was an FPS shooter. I mean, I played video games throughout high school, throughout middle school, and I took Valorant to the semi-professional level. And as an individual player, I really treasured working alongside teammates and actually being like that captain, that leadership model that students could ask questions to, that colleagues could reach out to. And from being good at the game, I kind of reached out to be a coach to other universities and kind of bouncing around to different schools, different project rosters, being a coach. That gave me some of the background experience I needed to land my first official esports position, which was at Assumption University as the head coach of esports. And I really enjoyed that position. I thrived in it. I got to understand there's a lot of challenges being someone who really enjoys esports, who's in that leadership position. And there's a lot of potential as a ton of students are getting excited for this new industry on the horizon in the future. And I'd love to be one of the people who can kind of pioneer where that industry goes. And from that position, I said, you know what, I think I want something full-time with me in the driver's seat. I applied to be the esports coordinator here at St. Lawrence University, got the position. So I've been in this position for about 5 months and I've really enjoyed it and looking to see what I can do in the next few years.
That's great. That's great. And getting more into the student aspect, for in Assumption and here now, how are you on? How do you do or how are you planning on doing setting students realistic expectations? Because sometimes they go super motivated with their I'm gonna take this many credits, I'm gonna do this so many hours, and then they get overwhelmed. So that's something also families ask us about. How do you guide students into having a balance? I mean, it's a tight schedule, but at least having that balance between that tight schedule.
Definitely. I think the best thing that I always hone in on is when I was a student, it was always being organized, having someone who's willing to help you kind of connect your schedule to your expectations and what your ambitions are. I think that helps a ton. So as the esports head coach at Assumption and the esports coordinator here at St. Lawrence, I actually think my best approach is at the beginning of the season is sitting down with all my athletes and finding what schedule works best for them. So that actually means that our practice schedule slash my theology of esports practice schedules, it's never the same every single year. It's always going to change because you're going to have a different amount of students taking evening classes. You're going to have a different amount of students who are A plus students. They're here for an academic train and that's what they really want to pursue, but they would love to participate in esports on the side. So I think coming together as that group of 5, however big your roster is, and kind of sitting down and saying all right, what do we want to do this season? I guess how many days per week do we want to practice? Because there's also a compassionate side of esports that's kind of stems away from that competitive side, and students would love to be able to take an evening and just play some video games with their friends. They don't really want to get in that competitive spirit every single day of the week, every single week of the month. So giving them some of that space, that extra time, but making sure when we do have practice, it's high quality, we're all there, we're all dialed in, we're all enjoying ourselves. I think that helps students organize themselves and orient themselves in a way where they can still take credits, take classes they really want to enjoy, have some downtime, join other clubs, other organizations, and still pursue esports as a passion. Even at St. Lawrence, which we're a very academically competitive university, so our classes here are very demanding.
That's great. And you reveal a bit the schedule, but how would be I know every year, as you mentioned, it's not the same, but how would be a day to day of a student player in your program?
Yeah. Certainly. So right now, I guess I'll just walk you through what I envision for this upcoming semester. Now, granted, it might not be exactly this, so it's still trying to play around with some things in my mind. But throughout the week, we're going to have one game day as we're enrolling ourselves in the NECC, the New England. That's actually it used to be called the New England Collegiate Conference. Now it's I believe the National Esports Collegiate Conference. So they have rebranded. But it'd be one game day per week. So say that game day falls on a Friday. I'd like to have us have 3 practices throughout the week, 1 break day, and the weekend is all yours. So you get to enjoy your Saturday and Sunday. Maybe we have a practice on Monday, a practice on Wednesday, a practice on Thursday, and then we have game day on Friday. And what those 3 practice sessions would look like could be a combination of in-game time, a VOD review, some utility teching, or mechanical work. So I know Rocket League has workshop maps we can utilize. Valorant has custom maps you can utilize. So different ways, instead of just like playing the game the way you always do, trying to kind of break the game down so you understand different concepts. And that's when I come into play as a coach, where I'm there with the teams, and we have other coaches to help the other titles that we do sponsor here at St. Lawrence. And then in addition to all of that, one thing I'd like to look at bringing for our fall semester are these team bonding opportunities. So as we are a varsity sport, we are entitled to a varsity lift with the team. And I'm not going to make it mandatory. I don't want to start there, but I love the idea of having an optional lift on, it could be a day we have practice for. Let's say we have that gap on Tuesday, 4 p.m. on Tuesday after classes. If you'd like to come down, you can lift weights with us in the weight room for an hour. I think it's a unique twist. You don't usually see, I guess, a lot of physical activity in esports, but it's the opportunity for the students to get to know each other a little bit better, and better communication means better coordination, means better team play. So I like the idea of throwing in something else to the schedule that's not actually directly esports, but it's going to enhance that esports quality of life that we're looking for. And that's kind of what the week looks like. You got to enjoy your weekend, and then we come back and we run it again.
Yeah, that's great. And also like physical exercise increases like your mental performance, so that's amazing. And for like those students that are like maybe struggling in academics or handling academics in esports, and is there like resources like some counseling or with you or with a member on this program that they can go to if they need that help?
Yes, definitely. So I actually don't know the exact title, as I am new here. I really should know that title by now, but it's pretty much an academic consulting service where any student that is struggling in a class, a seminar, anything at all, we pretty much will have you set up an appointment with that department. You'll meet with them, pretty much say, all right, like here's what you're concerned about. Do you need a study plan? Is the content of the class too difficult? Did you miss a week and now you're worried you're getting behind? Whatever it might be, we kind of devise a plan with you to stay on track. We provide you with the contact information of other students who are in that class, other faculty members who can help you. So we definitely provide you with the opportunity to make sure whatever academic deficit you're facing, that we can kind of approach together, and that you're not the only one. On, I guess, a separate, to switch, not really switch topics, but on a separate side, as a first-year student at St. Lawrence, we have what's called a first-year program, which immediately gives you a community of students. Some might be in your discipline, some might be in the actual dorm you live in, and it's just a community you have access to. And they do something, I think, once every single month. So just from getting there and just being at St. Lawrence for that first semester, you already have a group of students you can reach out to if you're like, you know what, this class is a little difficult, I think I need a study buddy, or something as simple as that. But if you're looking for more professional services, we definitely do offer that through our academics department.
That's amazing. I did not have that when I was in college. I wish I had that.
I didn't either, so.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And also, so what are the skills that you wish to like portray in students for when they graduate after school? Like the skills, not portray, but develop. Let's say in
Yeah.
students for after they graduate, for them to get into the workforce.
So I'd say the skills that I'm like I always want to
Mm.
focus on are skills that you can apply to any industry. As I don't like the idea of college is a one size fits all, that whatever you major in, like that's the path you have to take. I mean, I did not
Mm.
major in esports and I chose to do something different, but I think the skills that I picked up through esports can help me anywhere. So one of the big ones I think is initiative. I love students, individuals, anyone who's willing to take that first step and see what they can do. And I think with that, initiative requires a little bit of innovation, a little bit of creative thinking, but deep down, I think a lot of us are kids with that creative mindset. We love to try something new, see where it goes, have fun with it. It's a new experience. So developing like that initiative, an innovative mindset. I love that within my students. I also just crystal clear responsibility, organization, students who are here because they want to be here and they want to do something productive. I think that's great. And recognizing what do you have to take care of before you play esports, or what do you have to do throughout this semester? What are the challenges you're going to be met with, and how, as a student, you need to learn to overcome them. As none of us are perfect. I've made plenty of mistakes in my esports career, but I think I've learned from those mistakes to make sure I don't make them again and kind of progress myself into the future. So to just recap, initiative, innovation, responsibility, organization. I think those are like some very important core skills that you can apply anywhere. And every employer is going to love to hear someone who kind of steps up to the bat first and say, you know what, like, I think this is our plan of action. I'd like to try it. And that's what's got me the position. And hopefully I'll be able to continue that sentiment for the next few years.
That's right. And what really stuck with me is that you mentioned like creativity and being able to like try new things, you know, and some will success, some will fail. Like, do you offer student positions for like students that have experience or want to try out, start in graphic design, in content creation, production, you know, all these things that they may be studying in college, that they want to apply to the esports program for them to go to the workforce with experience, you know,
Yes,
already.
yes, definitely. So I always think that esports, you have like your competitive side, but you also have your like content creation side. You have your creative side, if you will. So I guess I'll just walk through the positions. The first position, that GA position, we actually did not have here, but when I was onboarded, I said it'd be great to have someone in that GA role, because that graduate assistant can easily blossom into an esports coordinator, into either the next one or get the skills to do that at another university. So the fact that that position has opened up, very thankful for it. Which that is for a grad student. For undergraduate students, we have our own broadcasting like system. We have a recording studio in our esports facility. So we offer paid casting roles. So students who want to come and kind of just talk about the game while students are playing it, want to commentate on the game, we pay you for your time and your service. We have director roles. So if you want to be one of the people who's kind of behind the scenes, either moderating the Twitch, changing scenes, editing overlays or animations, we offer paid positions for that as well. We have 3 internship roles, actually. This is the first semester we're offering those, so very excited about that. But once again, it's going to be, all right, well, how is it this semester? What can we improve on? What do we need to change? One of them is our digital media and broadcasting intern. So they're going to handle our Instagram, our Twitter. They're going to handle our Twitch, editing different overlays, kind of making transitions a little more smooth. So when we start at the beginning of this semester, hopefully our broadcast looks very different towards the end of the semester. Thank you to their work. We have a corporate liaison internship, and that's for students who really like the idea of esports partnerships and sponsorships and want to get into the esports business side. So for example, that intern, and this is a conversation that's yet to come up because they're still on break, but there's a student-run esports group in New York called Easy Esports, and I'd love to partner with them. And either we provide them a little bit of financial backing for maybe they put us on their social media or something like that, or maybe we can utilize them as a recruiting platform. But those partnerships and sponsorships, they will take stake in, they'll kind of handle, and they'll work to coordinate, and I think that's going to add a lot of value to our esports program. And then the third internship we offer is a team manager internship. And those are for students who have really good interpersonal skills and kind of want to grow that and work directly one-on-one with teams, with athletes. They're going to handle schedules. They're going to look at practice schedules, and they're also going to help me plan those team bonding events. So for example, we had an esports barbecue at the very end of our spring semester as like a hoorah, like great job. We had a great semester. Now let's kind of take a load off and enjoy ourselves. And I thought that was a great opportunity for athletes to just connect, meet each other. And we even had some people who just weren't part of the esports program were like, hey, like a barbecue, I can get some food and have some great conversation. So it also just helped grow the program on campus. And I think planning those is going to be a huge asset once again to the program. So those are all internships in some of our paid positions. And then I'm also looking in the direction of independent studies, which are more academically related. So you actually get course credit for doing those. So it's a little different than internships and paid student positions where you're now not going to get a financial incentive, but you are going to get an extra credit. So maybe you can take one less class of the semester, something along those lines. And I also realized something I didn't mention, that esports, digital media, and broadcasting intern, I'd like to find 2 fellowships, which would essentially be digital media consultants. So students who really like either creating digital media or know how to post it, know how to operate the digital world of Instagram and Twitter and social media. And they're going to kind of be 2 consultants for that intern to utilize to grow our digital presence online. So I think a lot of opportunities here at St. Lawrence. A handful of them, it's the first time that we're offering them. So this semester, it's really going to be on me to see how do these positions benefit the student? What is the student looking for? What are some challenges with the position? And then kind of try and grow it from there, as I think these are great opportunities that are not associated directly with like competitive esports. It's a different side of esports that students are interested in.
That is great. So much valuable information. So, like, do you also guys offer the opportunity to like is those positions do have to be online or I mean in person or they can also be online?
So one thing I reached out to the service, the career center that's essentially coordinating our internships, and I said, what are the possibilities that high school students could apply for some of these internships as students who just want to get that experience and get something on their resume? As we at St. Lawrence, we have we're ranked number 4 for our alumni network nationwide. So just having St. Lawrence on your resume like attracts a lot of attention, and getting a high school student in that driver's seat to just experience, well, what does a digital media consultant do? What do they look like? I think that would be great. So it's something I actually asked about, have yet to really figure out what it's going to look like, but that definitely could be something that we offer in the future for students who kind of, I guess, want to get a head start on experiencing what the esports industry looks like and would like to add something to their resume for that application into a college or university.
Great, great. And from the students that are in your program, like what is the ratio, like approx, of like those students that want to get in the esports industry and those students that just want to go in the workforce with the degree they're studying? What is that ratio?
I'd say it's kind of a balance. It's kind of
Mhm.
funny because we have like 4 or 5 students out of our like 23 who they play another sport at the exact same time. So it's kind of funny. Like we have our Rocket League team, we have a decent amount of soccer players on that team. So it's like they're thinking like, oh, more about soccer, which I mean, they're still considering their degree that they're pursuing and everything. But it's kind of cool to have different sports. We have a squash player, we have a track and field player. But we have a handful of students who, and I had a great conversation with someone who's getting into accounting and was like, well, I mean, I like accounting and I like numbers, but I kind of want to do this for the esports field directly. So I'm hoping that within the next like year or 2, while I'm the esports coordinator here, students that start to graduate and look in the direction of a professional esports career, that adds to the connections that we now have at St. Lawrence. As even if I graduate and I say, you know what, I want to, instead of pursuing my degree in accounting, I'd like to look for an esports casting position. Now I can utilize that person in the future. Say, hey, like I heard you're doing esports casting. Do you have an internship position open? Or I heard you're doing esports casting. Walk me through it. How did you get that position? As I have a student who wants to follow the same path. So I think it'll be really cool to see in the future where those students who graduate go and pick up their career and how we can start to utilize those students and stay in contact. As every single student who's graduated had some great messages for me towards the end of the year, and I'm really hoping that I get to see some of them for our alumni events throughout this upcoming year. It'd be great to reconnect.
That was great. Can you reveal, just to wrap it up, like, can you reveal like your top 2 objectives for 2023, 2024?
Yeah, so I'd say my number one objective is like operations. So we have like we have new broadcast hardware in our recording studio. So it's like one of my objectives is make sure our broadcasts look nice, like sleek and appealing. Another one is we renovated parts of the facility. So new carpeting, new layout and everything, some new tech. And it's like, I want to make sure it all works. Like it just players enjoy themselves. The atmosphere is enjoyable. There's no hardware issues, anything like that. And then we're joining a different conference than we've been part of. Practice schedule once again might change. I'd also like to onboard another esports title with this undergraduate body that's coming in. So it's like, might have a few more people in the facility. I want to make sure practice schedule flows properly. So a lot of it is like being in the driver's seat, making sure everything just goes smooth. So I think that's very exciting. The other objective I have is we're building an esports racing simulation. So it's like a esports rig where you're literally like, it looks like you're in a car. It's pretty funny. And it's just a very new aspect of esports. It's on the horizon as Formula One, NASCAR. The viewership is increasing for both of those sports right now. I watch Formula One myself. So the idea of like, what's something new we can add to our program that maybe the competition doesn't offer yet, as there's not many schools that offer collegiate racing yet, which there is something called collegiate iRacing that NACE sponsors right now. So it's like anything new that I can add to my program, I love that idea. So I'd say just making sure everything works, like we don't have any problems, any boo-boos, and seeing what else I can add. That's what I'm looking for this upcoming year.
That's right, Kaden. And where can people find you and St. Lawrence Esports?
Yeah, so usually probably the best platform of communication besides our main website. So our main website is just stlawU.edu. We have an esports website as well. So on that main website, if you visit our athletics page and you look at our teams, you'll actually see us listed underneath one of the co-ed varsity sports. So you'll see all of our information, our competitive teams. We actually also have a cycling news page, kind of keeps you updated on what esports is doing. And we don't have too much activity throughout the summer, as that's mainly my time to renovate the facility and check out some new things. But our Instagram is, I believe it's, I haven't probably used it for a little bit of time, but St. Lawrence University Esports. And then our Twitter, we're starting that this upcoming fall. We have one, but it hasn't been too active. So with the help of the intern, hopefully going to be able to grow that, have a greater social media presence on that platform as well.
That's great. Well, now it's called X. So
oh yeah,
no
yeah.
more
So I got
Twitter.
rebranded.
Yeah.
No more Bluebird. Huh?
Yeah, I guess. Well, Kaden, thank you so much for your time, and I'm staying in touch.
Thank you very much.